Welcome back to the Schlocky Horror Picture Show and The She-Beast, one of the few films directed by Michael Reeves in his awfully brief career. As a child, he started making short films featuring his school friend Ian Ogilvy. His first professional work was as associate producer on The Longships, and then as second unit director on The Castle of the Living Dead, taking over as director mid-production. When he got The She-Beast right, to everyone's amazement, he was entrusted with bigger budgets and made better films. In 1967, he directed and co-wrote The Sorcerers, giving Boris Karloff a major role in one of the few films worthy of his talent. In 1968, Reeves refused to allow my old friend Vincent Price to overact in Witchfinder General. Annoyed, Vincent snapped, "Young man, I have made 84 films. What have you done?" To which Reeves replied, "I've made 2 good ones." All was forgiven when Vincent saw the end product. Alas, on the 11th of February 1969, whilst working on The Oblong Box, Michael Reeves passed away aged just 25 when he unwittingly combined alcohol and sleeping pills. We lost a major talent and many fine films, and The Oblong Box became part of Gordon Hessler's unimpressive career. The small amount of screen time given to Barbara Steele is one of the She-Beast's failings. This English rose became an icon of low-budget European horror films in the 1960s, starting with Black Sunday. Major directors also made use of her talents. Fellini cast her in 8½, and she had a memorable supporting role in Young Taurus, Volker Schlondorf's highly regarded first film. She was unable to take the part written especially for her in They Shoot Horses, Don't They?, so it went to Susanna York, as did the Oscar nomination. Her best roles in the 70s were in David Cronenberg's Shivers and in Piranha as Dr. Menges, aka Fish Food. This did not lead to better offers in the 80s, and she turned to producing the World War II miniseries The Winds of War and War and Remembrance. Depending on which account you believe, she worked on The She-Beast for 4 days or for just 1 day and did all her scenes within 12 hours. Just 1 day would be enough time for her to steal the film. Hey, if puns were good enough for Shakespeare, they're good enough for me. Michael Reeves gave his boyhood friend Ian Ogilvy major roles in 3 of his films, and he gave a good performance each time. Ogilvy went on to appear in many television shows in both England and America. My personal favourite is Grayson the school bully in the Ripping Yarns episode Tompkinson's School Days. In 1978, he played Simon Templar in all 24 episodes of The Return of the Saint, though being regarded as the new Roger Moore was hardly a step in the right direction. With no friend to give him continued employment, Mr. Ogilvy occupied his spare time by writing children's books. They don't know too many words. How hard can that be? His last prominent role was as hairdresser to the stars Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn in Death Becomes Her. Dressed like a Belgian golfer, and almost twice as interesting, is John Carlson as Von Helsing, a role that would have been ideal for Boris Karloff had he not been busy camping it up in The Girl from U.N.C.L.E. Carlson has had a long and varied career in such films as 8½, Crack in the World, The Black Stallion, and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Knowing Barbara Steele is probably how he landed that role in The Winds of War. Most of you will have recognised our old friend Mel Wells as the loathsome groper, innkeeper and man of bad character. It was he who played Mr. Mushnick in the cult favourite Little Shop of Horrors. I'm sure I can hear the voice of Mushnick near the end of the film. After such downright caddish behaviour as spying on Miss Steele and the attempted rape of his own niece, some would say that there is poetic justice when Groper is killed by a hideously ugly witch. Apparently a glutton for punishment, Mel returned to Italy a few years later and committed artistic suicide by directing Lady Frankenstein, if you could call it directing, a monstrously bad film which I inflicted upon you recently. Amongst the crew is the man who gave Mel a place in film history. Charles Byron Griffith, second unit director on The She-Beast, also wrote The Little Shop of Horrors, played the screaming dental patient, the thief who becomes plant food, and he provided the voice of Audrey Jr. Griffith wrote some of Roger Corman's best films: It Conquered the World, Not of This Earth, A Bucket of Blood, and Death Race 2000. What a talented man he was. Did Michael Reeves choose the surname Byron as his writing pseudonym as a compliment to Charles Byron Griffith? Use this thought as a mental bullet to bite down on as we return to the remainder of The She-Beast.